All right, so what's next for the San Francisco 49ers, who went probably farther than most people thought all the way to the NFC Championship game, again up 10 in the fourth quarter. But these are hard to come back from sometimes. So, B-Mac, you know what it's like to try to get this far. I mean, you lost a Super Bowl. It's hard the next year. What's next for the Niners?
Well, I love their roster when you look at the foundation, especially on both sides of the football in the trenches. Offensive line wise, I like what they're doing, the mentality. The same can be said defensively. You know, the elephant in the room, guys, is the quarterback. We expect to see Trey Lance, the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers next season. Now, how will he handle that spotlight? How will he handle that job? We have to wait and see. But athletically, we know he's gifted. Hopefully, Kyle Shanahan will have a plan in place for Trey to be able to be at his best. But they have pieces already in place. Tight end wise, George Kittle, Pro Bowler, All-Pro-like player. Deebo Samuel, one of the best Swiss Army knives in the National Football League. Defensively, you got Bosa. So they have some pieces. But the thing about the San Francisco 49ers, they're in a very, very difficult division. The Rams, Seattle, Arizona. Well, Seattle might be in a rebuild, but Arizona, you better believe they will be competitive. So I think the 49ers should be okay. It's all about Trey Lance.
All right, what's next for the 49ers, Ryan Wilson? I mean, I would say I think they're solidly the second best team in a very, very good division. They're not the Rams, even though they swept them, probably a little better than the Cards. And I wonder what's next for Seattle. They seem like a team on the free fall a little bit. What do you think's next for the 49ers?
I'll be honest, CK, when they were 3-5, I had a lot of questions about what Kyle Shanahan was doing, giving up all those draft picks, not playing Trey Lance, still leaning on Jimmy Garoppolo. But the joke's on me. They worked this thing out, and they had a plan. The plan was to lean on the running game and let the defense get after it, starting with Fred Warner. And I'm with BMAC. I feel pretty good about where this team is going because they gave up all that draft capital. We all had a bunch of questions about how this is going to work. They got to the NFC Championship game, and you could argue one interception away from going to the Super Bowl again for the second time in 3 or 4 years. So I think they're going to be even better next year with Trey Lance. There are going to be growing pains. But here's what we've said all season. If you have an offensive line, your young quarterback will certainly have a lot more success than if you say throw him on the Jets. So I think with all the tools around him, starting with the running game, and now Trey Lance will be a part of that running game, this team has every reason to believe there won't be any sort of a NFC Championship hangover if there's even such a thing. I think they'll be in good shape. We know that their coach is a great play caller. They may lose some guys to coaching hires, but that's okay. That's what happens on good teams. And I think they'll come back next year probably better to start the season than they were this year when they went 3-5.
All right, JJ, what's next for the Niners?
So these guys are right. They're going to move forward with Trey Lance. That's going to change the offense a little bit because this was a team that never really even went no huddle this year. And the times that they did go no huddle, it was when Trey Lance was in the game at quarterback there in the middle part of the season when Jimmy Garoppolo was out. So that's going to change their offensive scheme as well. We talked about the no huddle. We're going to talk, as Ryan mentioned, about the run game as well. It's going to be interesting to see Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator there with the San Francisco 49ers, if he winds up getting the job with the Miami Dolphins, as Ryan sort of alluded to, what does that brain drain do to the team? If DeMeco Ryans, the defensive coordinator, leaves and gets a head coaching job, maybe with the Minnesota Vikings, what does that brain drain do to a team that also just lost their defensive coordinator in Robert Saleh recently as well? You look at their free agents, though, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and that fantastic front office there have done a very good job of keeping and extending the guys that they want there. We've talked about the offensive line. We've talked about Fred Warner. Really, their biggest free agent coming up this upcoming season is Laken Tomlinson. And I think that he should get paid out there, but they have a little cap space. They are going to deal Jimmy Garoppolo. They were always going to deal Jimmy Garoppolo, whether he won today and then won in 2 weeks. He was going to get dealt. Now your return is probably going to be, at best, a third-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, but they will be able to get his number off the books, get some sort of draft compensation for him, and move forward in a very difficult division.
This has to be a tough day for Kyle Shanahan. He's part of that 28-3 Falcons team against Brady. He's up 10 in the fourth quarter against Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Loses there. Up 10 in the fourth quarter with a chance to go back to the Super Bowl against the Rams, and they lose here 20-17, being outscored 13-0 in the fourth.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.